salutations, everyone. That's the Cave Crusaders opening. But today,
Jesus.
we're doing the Nerd On Update. Welcome, everybody. It is the weekly show where on Monday nights, your favorite nerds run their podcast live, and we talk about the nerdy things that we love to talk about, and then also answer questions from you, the people, the audience, the ever so important nerds that help make this Nerd On podcast something special. This is the last episode stream update of the year. So all the news we're gonna get tonight.
Looking forward to 2023. 2020 who?
Good. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, 20. Yeah, that's a good one. I like that. It took me a second. I was always like 2020. Ah,
is this year?
Lately, all the jokes have been going over my head, bro.
That's
all
okay.
the jokes have been, like someone posted like, I don't know if I should watch Rashomon. I'm getting conflicting reports, and then I was like, well, you should
definitely check. Oh, hold on one second.
And I was like, oh my god,
hold on one second.
I'm boomering out, bro. I'm just getting so old. I can't keep up with it. Everyone's too smart.
Okay.
Everyone's too smart. I can't handle it. Anyways, thank you everyone for being in the chat tonight, joining us. We got some news tonight. I don't even know what Corey's got cooking up, but we're cooking. And we got some news that I'll go. You want
start us out?
We go first.
I don't really have any like solid news to bring to the table, other than just some more Magic updates.
I was gonna say because nothing explosive happened at Magic this week or last week. But no, I mean, first off, before we get to start into it, just I want everyone to know that all the rest of the hosts wanted to be here tonight, but everyone's all tied up with family and work. So we're definitely looking forward to the next year where we can. But until then, enjoy us. We'll enjoy you. I see some questions in the chat already. We got a lot of cool end of year questions that was asked in our Discord. We'll bring that up. And we got the news I have is more just like cinema and all that stuff. But before we get to cinema, before we get too far into it, let's make sure we do our traditional clap syncs for fun, baby. So it's been fun, it's been real, but this is a clap. What's that?
But it hasn't been real fun. This is a clap.
Yeah, so the claps for Brad, but also for everyone. I'll start at the news with three films in particular made headlines, were conversation pieces. One in particular that I think people in the Discord actually were very like, Tom, you have to be the one to kind of talk us through it or into it or whatever. Is Mr. James Gunn. And not James Gunn. That's on my mind apparently. But Mr. James Cameron, Jimmy Cams, because Avatar: The Way of Water got a lot of press and a lot of conversations buzzing before the film premiered. At the time of this stream recording episode, it has been the weekend. And Avatar: The Way of Water has made somewhere above in the mid $450 million worldwide, and it was not seen
doing fine.
Well, and unfortunately, as it seems or as it turns out, in terms of projections, it's not good enough. And that's a crazy statement to make. That $450 million is not good here. But that being said, it's because it was projected like 525 million or something like that. But James Cameron kind of like, mentioned like how like he doesn't really see a worry. His films tend to have longer windows at the box office, and that's when it kind of really comes in because people do the second or third viewings. Like I know people that watched it twice already, and I'm just like, my God, I watched it. I'm not going to say yay, nay, go watch it or do watch it or whatever, but I am going to say like I personally enjoyed it. As someone, I'll say this, as someone who has someone who sorry, I just got a text.
That was me.
I know.
I took a magic quiz. I was telling him the results live on our stream. To be honest,
I feel like I just got like served on live television. It's like So
A little bit.
it's interesting result. Interesting results. I think I just throw the link into the Discord and see what people think.
Yeah, you should.
Anyways, James Cameron Avatar 2. They had already shot the third one, and even if this film, the second one flops, the third one's still going to come out. Like that's just contractually what's going to happen. But in order for this film to break even, it would have to make somewhere like near $2 billion, which is just crazy to think because it took so long to do so. So yeah, I really enjoyed the film. I talked a lot of smack about the first one. I'll tell everyone that I literally fell asleep watching it in IMAX in 2009, the first time watching it. And I told so many people to run away from Avatar. And all I'll say, the one line of review I will say for Avatar Way of Water, for anyone that is interested here, it pretty much was like the IOU for very terrible CGI for the entire year. So take that what you will. I'm not going to tell you that the story is mind blowing or great or whatever. You're going to love it, but I'm just gonna be like, you know what? I'll tell you one thing with no shadow of a doubt. It's probably the best CGI you're going to see in the next 10 years, maybe.
Yeah. I also saw that interview where they told the leads that each of them had like somewhere between 20 to 25 films come out between the first one and this one.
That's crazy. I mean, I just love Sam Worthington being like, when my character was in a wheelchair when we first started, by the time we finish these, I will be in a wheelchair.
Yeah. He also said, she was like, Zoe Saldana was talking. She's like, man, it feels like it's only been like 5. I think she said 25 movies come out between the first one and this one. She's like, it feels like it's only 5. And he was like, mine too, but that's only because I think most of mine never came out. I was like, oh, Sam.
Good guy. Good guy.
Sam.
Good guy.
Yeah.
I will say there is a lot of moments where it feels like it's just every single James Cameron movie into one movie, which is very nice. But I'll leave that alone. Second bit of news. Barbie trailer came out.
Yeah, the teaser.
And a teaser came out. And much to an uproarious, thunderous, loud applause, people either loved it or didn't care at all.
The teaser?
Yeah.
I thought the teaser was brilliant.
Oh, yeah. People loved it or didn't talk about it at all.
Well, yeah.
Right? Is that not
That's
right?
fair.
There's no one.
If
I haven't seen
I thought
anyone.
you were like, people either loved it or hated it. And I was like,
Oh, no. I haven't seen
No.
one person hate it. I've seen everyone either love it or just don't even talk about it.
yeah.
So,
What'd you think?
Oh, I thought it was interesting. I don't know if it's going to be in the film, though. That's the question.
Oh, yeah. Maybe, but it's a cool homage.
Oh, yeah.
Either way.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, I like Greta Gerwig. Yeah.
I mean, I think there needs to be more Greta Gerwigs out in the world. And we'll see if I don't know. We'll see. But that came out, and when I went to go watch Avatar: Way of Water and IMAX, they had a presentation, a 9-minute presentation for Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1. And it was pretty much like this behind the scenes Christopher McQuarrie and Tom Cruise doing day one of footage and how they were like doing this ramp, and it took like 9 months to make it. And yeah, it's pretty much.
You saw his thank you video?
McQuarrie?
Tom Cruise thanking people for supporting Maverick
No,
while he's free diving out of a helicopter.
no. It's wild.
Very Tom Cruise. He's like with Christopher McQuarrie in the helicopter. He's like, we're filming right now, and for
Dead Reckoning.
what's it called? Dead Reckoning. He's like, we're on shoot day 2022, whatever. And he's like in the helicopter. He's like, you coming with me, Chris? He's like, not on your life. Good luck. And he gives him the fist pound, and Tom Cruise goes back out. I did it. I did my thing. And he goes, anyway, I just want to thank everyone for coming out and supporting Maverick and what we do. I gotta send it to you. It's amazing.
Okay. Well,
He's
put it on the Discord.
free
Put it on the
diving
Discord.
and still just like going through his monologue, thanking people for coming out and staying safe.
Oh yeah,
And
no,
it's
he
like
is definitely like
Mr. Entertainment.
I wouldn't say he's desensitized himself, but he's definitely just like absolutely normalized adrenaline for him. And
When he jumps out backwards, he just goes, whoa, just a little bit to himself, and that's it. That's his whole reaction.
when you see this 9-minute presentation for this first big huge jump, is this big stunt, he pretty much like, I'm gonna go base diving just to warm up a little bit. I was like, oh my god. I was like, what
Yeah.
the heck? What we
Is he one of those people who's like worn out his adrenal glands, and so he has to like
constantly? You mean
jumpstart
he's a
them?
junkie?
Yeah, you know what I mean? There's
um
those people who like need that kind of stuff. Like
oh yeah.
coffee would do nothing for him.
Um Last bit of news that I have, movie wise, also at the IMAX presentation, Oppenheimer presentation, and my God, all the trailers out right now are not as good as that trailer.
I haven't seen it yet.
I'm really upset like that IMAX trailer was out, but then all the trailers that are currently out on the internet are not the same ones, and it's very good. It's very very good. I was quite surprised. Like, you know, what was it gonna be about? Okay, it's about a guy who builds the bomb, and it's like the most, you know, terrible thing in human history that we've ever done to, or we've ever done to another country. It's like, it's absolutely horrendous. It's like, well, how are we gonna watch this? You know, seeing Cillian Murphy as lead actor is amazing. It's great, and I think so. How should I say, long overdue to have Cillian Murphy be the star of a blockbuster the size of, you know, a Nolan film. I think he's definitely a prime talent that definitely needs to, you know, be celebrated more often. But yeah, that is all the news I have.
I love you.
What?
I just said I love you for saying that, Tom.
Oh yeah, no, he's great. He's like, ever since Peaky Blinders, I look back to that like audition cast video of him like trying out to be Batman, Bruce Wayne for Christopher Nolan, and this part of me was like, man, what if he was though?
But what if
That's
though?
kind of crazy.
But what if though?
That'd be kind of cool though. But yeah, that's all the news I got for films for me. Corey, what news you got, baby?
And not much. They just we had some teasers for Phyrexia All Will Be One, which will be the next set coming out through Standard for the Magic the Gathering community. And we've had some pretty cool, I mean, it's a mix of reprints. It's a mix of some brand new cards that we haven't seen for a while for as far as the Praetor cards go. I mean, you know, Tom, I believe you're most familiar with Jin Gitaxias as one of the Praetors.
I know
There's one for each,
and Vorinclex
one for
and
each color.
Shieldred.
Yep.
I know
El Schnorn is my personal favorite.
Evil. So evil.
That
so
card is sitting in my binder waiting for my Kaikar polymorph deck to just put her on the battlefield. All your creatures get -2/-2. Mine get +2/+2. No big deal. But yeah, it's looking to be a pretty fun set. They're bringing back an infect-ish mechanic. So we can look forward to that back in Standard. But it seems to be a little more balanced than it was before for both sides. You know, like the big thing with Infect that was harsh for the Infect players, as far as like going into Commander, is it's really difficult because you're not actually doing damage to someone. The meaning, like, you could do damage. You could do your Infect damage to someone, but no one else could finish them off with Infect, right? You hit someone for 5 Infect, they're still at 40 health, meaning the rest of the table cannot help you on your mission. So they're kind of balancing that in a way with this new set, but it looks to be great. There's a lot of variant prints, which is very cool, but also very overwhelming all at the same time. I think I saw some statistic that said like, somewhere like 18% of all Magic cards in existence were printed this last year due to variants and stuff like that. It's a 30-year-old game. 18% of the cards. I could be wrong on that exact statistic, but it's something in the teens percentage.
I saw the most
of all cards.
I saw the most recent Tolarian Community College, and he was saying like, maybe next year they'll have a secret lair for every week.
Yeah, I think we did. I
think he said maybe twice a week. Yeah.
Yeah, we had like 70 something secret layers this week, which is crazy. But yeah, it's a lot of cards. But I'm excited for Phyrexia. Mirrodin was the first block I ever played in Magic, which is part of this. Mirrodin, Scars of Mirrodin, and then Phyrexia. So the whole Mirrodin storyline is that it's been slowly being taken over by the Phyrexians. And so yeah, I'm excited to go back to one of my favorite planes and play around. There is my one shout out. I saw my favorite card of all time in all of Magic is Venser the Sojourner. It's a Planeswalker card. And one of the preview arts, so we don't get to see what the card was, but one of the preview arts was this gorgeously painted, terrifying, gorgeously painted card called Venser, I think it was Corpse Puppet. And my heart is both broken and excited because my boy Venser's getting a new card, but it's Venser corpse puppet. Are you looking it up right now?
I am, but then it autocorrected to Panzer corpse puppet.
No, that's not it. Venzer.
Venzer.
Corpse puppet.
Corpse puppet.
Yeah, there's no card yet, but just the art, the preview art.
Oh God.
Yeah, that's my boy. So he died in the last Scars of Mirrodin block, saving Karn. So it looks like the Phyrexians have done something with his body to taunt us all. Anyway, looking for that set. That's all my news for tonight. What do you think of that art, Tom?
Well, that art is just that's some Event Horizon looking. That's
Right?
some
It's
Doom Eternal.
It is some real the Thing vibes going on, like some John Carpenter type shit.
So does Venzer not normally look like this?
No, look up Venzer MTG.
Venzer.
He's just a dude.
MTG.
He was an artificer.
Oh, he was just a man.
He's just a boy.
He's just
he was
a guy.
Arrogant and kind of an asshole in the books, but he was just a guy who's super gifted in artificing. And in order to save Karn, who you know as well, Karn was being taken over the Phyrexians. So what Venzer did is he basically what they call Spark, which is like their teleporting thing, teleported his heart into Karn and then died.
Wow.
So he's a good boy. He's a good boy, and that's what I mean. I'm excited to see he has another card, but also like, my boy, look how they massacred my boy.
Yeah, man, Jeebus.
Anyway,
so tell me, so we had, it's only two hosts tonight, and we can
that's
expand
true.
a little
we got
bit.
some time.
Give me a little bit of what is a Phyrexia? Like, I know Phyrexian Praetor. I see Phyrexian Artificer. Was that what's that dude?
Phyrexian is like basically like evil. I don't want to say machines, but like bio
Necrons.
Machines things. They're trying to. Their first goal was to take over Mirrodin, and what they do is they complete things, and it's not complete like
Cauldra.
Complete like complete COMPLEAT. Yeah, Cauldra, not Cauldra complete, but complete. So they've like the newest biggest thing that shook up the storyline is they for the first time ever completed a planeswalker, which I think was Tameo, and then they sleeper agent my boy Johnny. Didn't know he was completed until it was
I saw that cinematic.
Which hurt, which stung. Storytelling wise, they made a great choice in a Johnny because he's always been good boy of Johnny,
because he's a Leonin.
He's always been the like, my friends are my family, and so it hurt to see him go against a fairy like that. But yeah, they're just like, I mean, next to the Eldrazi, I personally think they're more interesting than the Eldrazi. I think Eldrazi's were like big bad, almost like kaiju type things, where they're like bigger than you could fathom, and they shaped reality in 8 worlds. But the Phyrexians are interesting because there's 5 of them. They don't all get along. Like Urbask is like, fuck you guys, I'm doing my own thing. And kind of just same with the green one. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. What's that? Yeah,
Vorinclex.
Just kind of doing his own thing. But Jin-Gitaxias and Elish Norn and Shieldred are kind of like in it with Elish Norn being the one who's like leading it all. She's scary.
Oh, Elish Norn, I saw all like the promos, and she's just like this, like in Elden Ring, she's like Melania, where it's like beautiful, but also, oh my god, I'm so terrified. Yeah. I don't like this.
There's definitely some people who could explain the lore better than I can, but to me,
just for a flavor,
all other villains that have been introduced into the MTG universe, Phyrexians are by far the coolest and most interesting to me, just because of how they function and take over.
And so, are the Phyrexian Praetors like the leaders of the Phyrexians?
Yeah.
Okay. Who? Because I remember when I first got into Magic, and I was just like, I'm gonna play Nickel Bickle. And I was like, he's so evil. And then my friend was like, no, the Phyrexians are way more evil. And he was like, do you know what the Eldrazi are? I'm like, but I want to be an evil dragon man. So I don't know where the scales of like, this is like a Frieza level. This is like a, Raditz level.
I would say Nicol Bolas is the biggest bad that's ever graced the MTG lore. He is the, I'm trying to think.
Yeah, I guess give me the allegory.
He would be more like, trying to think if he'd be more like Cell or Majin Buu. Like, who was the like, oh fuck, this guy's gonna go 1,000%
Probably
on
probably
everybody.
Majin Buu.
So Nicol Bolas was like, no, Nate knows a lot of the lore too. Nate's here in the chat.
Yeah.
Nicol Bolas I would equate to Majin Buu.
Okay.
So he was like a god type. Like it took a lot of storylines and a lot of planeswalkers to finally defeat him. I guess Ugin would be Goku in that sense because he keeps dying
Or
and coming back.
or be the Kais, the Kais who like all work together to stop him.
But Majin Buu was chaos and Cell was just evil to be evil. Yeah, I would say like then the Praetors would be like Cell. Because they are kind of like we are the perfect specimen.
Okay.
And perfection is what we want the entire universe to be part of our hive mind.
Okay.
And so yeah, it's they're evil. They're just evil to be evil. That like I'm sure Elish Norn has a big picture type thing, but like the reality that my understanding from what my limited knowledge of it is that they want to be evil so that the whole world is Phyrexian. Like they are a plague that they want to inflict on all timelines. And then Frieza, a level type threat in the MTG universe, was probably like I kind of want to say Liliana, but she became like good afterwards. Like,
Did she betray Nicol Bolas, right?
Yeah, to help. Yeah, like Gideon died because of her, and she's been feeling that guilt. But like before that, she like full on cursed Garruk and like turned him crazy. Do you know what I mean? So she was like bad, not a good person until like recently, where
she's on her
Wizards was
redemption arc right now.
Yeah, right. So,
but she's got a lot to make up for.
Yeah, she's redeeming herself for quite some time. That's how I would describe it. There's other smaller villains, like Nahiri is a really cool Boros villain. She's the planeswalker. She's a core planeswalker. She's got like the super absolute egg white skin with the white hair, and she has the swords and stuff like that. Not a good person either. I believe she helped start the Phyrexia, like release the Phyrexian stuff. I can't remember exactly. It was either that or the Eldrazi, but yeah.
You know, I'm kind of thinking is like, I was trying to think like comic book stuff, right? So it's like if Nicol Bickle could be like dark side, right? Like a god. And then like if the Phyrexians are kind of like maybe like the scroll, like they just control and take over everything. Like the scroll in the comics, not like the scroll in the MCU where they're just like we're refugees, and it's like, all right, well now scrolls can't be bad guys now. And then like what would the Eldrazi be like? Are they just like we're just dudes?
Galactus.
Oh, okay, for sure.
They're just kind of like doing their thing, and people try to stop them because they're like, you're killing worlds, and like, we don't care.
Oh, so they could actually be a celestial.
We're ancient. And
they could be celestials.
I would say they're almost celestial. Yeah, they would be like celestial.
Yeah, because they go to planets and they're like, okay, are you guys evolving right? Okay, you ain't dead. You evolving right?
Yeah.
Okay, you good. And then it's like, oh,
because
okay.
they're like, I don't remember any time in a storyline where like they were really able to communicate with Eldrazi in like any way. I think they're just kind of like, the
natural.
planeswalkers were like the people on the ground. Well, like let them fight. They're huge.
Okay.
But I could be totally wrong on that as well. Again, my lore knowledge, my card knowledge outweighs my lore knowledge.
Like what cards came out, what sets and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Over what's happening in the actual storyline. I know certain characters. Like I know the Venzer story very well because that was my boy. I loved that card very much. And he released Karn, who for a long time was Nate's favorite planeswalker as well. So it was kind of a fun like Venzer died to save Karn, and Nate and I are friends, and it worked out. I was like, I would die to save you, Nate. But yeah, it's there's some really cool lore within like smaller stories here and there.
Oh yeah,
really
no.
Interesting.
I feel like it lends itself so much more to storytelling within the cards, and also like how cards evolve. You know how like Liliana was once a white card, and then like when other creatures die, they become zombies, and then you just see that continue on.
Liliana was a white card.
I think she was or Orzhov. She had white mana abilities or something like that. Or like it says Liliana of white or of the vest or something like that, and it's like she's like a maiden. She doesn't look
Oh, it's when she was she had a creature side. It was black, but it was Liliana of the and she transformed.
Of the
It was
Veil?
from the origin. It's not of the Veil. It's from the Magic Origins set. But yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, not the Veil. The Veil's still the Planewalker one. But yeah, I was thinking, I
That
was like,
was the
ooh,
Last Hope. But I was
maybe.
wrong on that.
But
That's the new one that came out.
Well, I was gonna say comparatively to Yu-Gi-Oh, like the main lore is just pretty much in the game, in the anime of like what they play. It's like, oh, this person's iconic card, but in the cards itself there is lore where it's like, oh, this is Gigagago, and it becomes a Gigagagigo, and you're like, oh my god. But then it's like, and then here's the freed Nightman, and they have the story. I'm like, this is like really in between the lines.
Here it is, Liliana Heretical Healer. She was all black. She was a 2/3 lifelinker, but yeah, she flips.
Yeah.
Whenever you create a zombie token.
Yeah.
So that was a cool. Magic Origins was a cool like mechanic because you got to see all these planeswalkers before their sparks were ignited, like mutants. Like something happens and their spark ignites. They don't always. They're not born with it.
In Mistborn, it's when they snap. But go on.
Yeah, right. So you got to have like a Jace creature. You got to have a Gideon whose name was Kythos or Kylos, but they were all creatures, and then they would do something, and their sparks would ignite, and you'd flip it over to the planeswalker side. So it was nice flavor. It was a little flavor. I liked that.
While we were chatting it up, thank you to Nate and Dust Ninja Kenji for subscribing and giving us some of that magic knowledge that I sorely need. Because I'm a big lore person.
We're filming a little magic something tomorrow night. Actually, excited for it.
Hope you guys like it. And we will read the chat once we get to, I guess, the next part, which is now.
Yeah.
Which is going to be the second part of the show, which is our questions. Now, everyone in the chat, if you're familiar with the show, that you know that you could always put in questions in the chat live at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Times on Mondays when we do this show. But if you're new and you're catching up on this, then you know the best place, our favorite place, is to go to nerdon.tv/questions and send that off. And then if you want to get more personal and potentially get, a fast pass and into it, you join our Patreon, nerdon.tv/Patreon. And for as little as $1 a month, you help to support us, but also you get fast tracked into the episodes and all that stuff. But also the cool thing that we've been trying out actually has been something we've done like in the last 2 weeks. If you're a patron, then you have access to these Discord channels. And 30 minutes before we go live, we do this green room chat thing. Normally, when we set up our, streams, we all meet up in this certain room. We, do all tech tests. You get to be there for that. We chat it up. Sometimes we just talk amongst ourselves. Sometimes we talk about the day. You get to kind of see a little bit more of how we are, who we are. And also, it's not just this one-sided, like you chat on a thing, we say it on the show, or like, you send us a question and then we mention you on the show. This is like an actual chance to, talk with us, interact, get your nerd on, talk about some things that you're excited about. I'm always a big fan of like hearing about my fellow nerds and like what kind of butters their biscuits, what fills their buckets, you know what I'm saying? Hang out with your favorite nerds on the internet. And if all that's too steep and you just want, smaller interactions, but interactions regardless, nerdon.tv/Discord is free. Check it out now. What are you waiting for? So I'm going to go and read some of this stuff in the chat just because I feel like, people subscribing, we appreciate it. You help support our show. And so, and people, write messages when they subscribe. Some big Mr. Big Nate wrote, gentlemen, and they've been subscribed for 13 months. Thank you. For the 1 month. And then Dust Ninja Kenji, I have not played Magic since Ravnica and when Commander was starting to get big, or when there were Chinese/Japanese influenced cards coming out, but hearing you guys talk about lore is fascinating. Well, sounds like wonderful potential interest in future podcasts should we have. And I'll be happy to just host and like let the people who know do the talking.
That would be fun.
And Corey definitely knows who we can bring onto the show, who have experience, who are cool, wonderful people. Corey, he's my resource of that information. But and
magic.
Yes. I remember one of my favorite cards was Azor's elocutors, where if you got 5 counters on it, 1 per round on the field, you just win the match. All my friends immediately targeted that card, but man, I loved blue-white deck and finding a way to keep that card on the field. That control, baby.
Azorius.
That control. We got questions now. So I see this one question coming up from Dustin Ninja Kenji. We are going to go through our bucket questions first that I asked the wonderful people of the Discord to send, and we're going to ask that now. And I will ask this one in the chat after we get through with these. And the first one actually happens to be yours anyways. So Dustin Ninja Kenji, I love this question. I love this question because you're bringing in all the comic book questions that I'm missing so much from the Caped Crusaders. Once the Steves and I figure out and plan a way to start recording more and also start publishing them in the new year, we will definitely be bringing back some of that comic book conversations that you love. This question, Dustin Ninja Kenji, what has been the best comic books you have read in 2022? Doesn't have to be from 2022, but that is also welcome. And there's a 2-part question. We'll do the first part first.
Best comic book you read in 2022. Is that right?
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be
in 2022, but also welcome.
Oh, okay. So basically, most recent comic book you've read. I haven't read too many comic books lately. Unfortunately, it's been a lot of baby taking, and then I'm like, hey, you guys want to get on a Magic game right now?
Do you have a favorite comic book thing you've interacted with or seen this year? Switch it up.
That's a good way to phrase it.
Yeah.
I actually reread House and Power of X in the very early months of Junebug being born, and I just was like, I fell behind on a lot of the more current stuff because it split off into like 6 different
Sword of X
stories. Yeah, there's the Marauders, there's all that kind of stuff. But man, the House and Power, it just made me think about how much there potential there could be for on-screen stuff pulling from those stories, because we are at I mean, bringing the X-Men into the MCU is going to be, they'll probably want to start fresh again.
But
I'm so tired of seeing things fresh.
Oh, again. Young and starting out.
Yeah, I'm just like,
there's part of me that would really, really be cool, and I think it would show a lot of confidence if they were like, you know, Black Panther 3 or Captain America or something at the UN, and then out of nowhere, like the room goes dim, and then only a few certain key people, probably the important politicians, and then the few heroes all freeze. And then comes in the X-Men through the doors, and they say like, hey, we've been in the shadows for too long, and blah blah, these things have happened, and now it's time for us to show like we're a sovereign state, and they start exactly with House of Power. And then nice. They have that moment where it's like, for now it's like now been decades, and it's like, where were you guys when this happened? Where were you guys when this happened? You guys keep saying you're the world's heroes, but instead we get to keep saving ourselves. Like, we are a product of X, Y, and Z, and you have Magneto and Xavier and all that stuff. So it's like that'd be to me that'd be really ballsy, but like
I just feel like within the zeitgeist we're at a point now where like it makes sense as a story. It makes sense as a group of people. We know who the X-Men are. Like, the X-Men are a huge part of the comic book culture. And now, ever since the movies in the early 2000s, especially thanks to Hugh Jackman's popularity, we've definitely crossed over where people who aren't even into comics know who the X-Men are. And so I think we could safely be at a place where we could see this on screen. The only thing you would need is to find a stand-in for Moira Taggart and her whole storyline, which kind of ties it all together. You almost need some sort of character that the audience has been with for a while, whether that could be like a Nick Fury type or Colby Smulders' character.
Maria Hill.
She could totally play that. Like, yeah, we've known them forever, and tell her story. Anyway, I just think it's a really, really, really well thought out story. It was my first introduction to anything Jonathan Hickman, which I've heard from you, Steves, and Barry is just like the guy I should probably check out and read more of his stuff. And I need to now, especially having reread all this. But Yeah, it was awesome. I would say, yeah, House and Power.
For me, I know I have one for sure from the Crusaders. I'm just having to re rethink what has been, and I'm going backwards in time to see what we have talked about on the Crusaders that you could find reruns from on our YouTube, and it is God bless. I can't see it. I can't see. Nope. Jurassic, Star Wars. Come on, Steve's. What do we got? What do we got? It was something. It was during. Spawn. Uh. Sandman. Ooh, Sandman. Sandman Volume 2 came out this year. Ooh.
Ooh,
Ooh. All
what you
right.
got?
For the Crusaders, they did the 4 features of Fright, and they had me. That was, I guess, that was what I was thinking about. Was a recent run of Hellblazer, which I definitely
Ooh,
bought digitally. I can't remember uh, the author, but I know that author is a little bit on the watch list for sure in terms of like we don't know if we really want to continue supporting thing, but in terms of just the storytelling, it was really cool because it pretty much opens up with these murders that are like obviously religiously or has religious connotations to them, and then the first issue ends with John Constantine walking to his apartment, and then the devil's eating his leftover Chinese food. And so it was a cool way to get into the story. And once I get the name, I'll put it on the Discord. So check that
okay.
out.
Follow us in the Discord.
And then the second thing, so that definitely was not in 2020. But the second part of this question from Dustin Ninja Kenji is on the same note, what has been the best movies and TV you have watched this year?
There's been a few. I haven't watched many movies. But I mean, like, I know Tom and I are gonna have the same answer, so I'll let him take that because he's
No,
the
you
one
could take it because I probably watched more movies than you have this year.
I know, but you're the whole reason I like. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, sure.
Like,
I mean,
I waited to watch it with Tom because of the Meg, and yeah. It's everything everywhere all at once. It's I mean, you had the cooler experience watching it as well because some people showed up to talk. But I would say that's. I mean, I've said this on the show a couple times. I've said it to everyone I've talked about it. That's probably it's definitely the best movie I've watched in the last 5 years, and it's probably in the top 3 of the best movies I've seen of all time. Yeah.
in order for variety, I will say, of course,
First of all, Tom says ditto. Yeah.
I just want to shine a light on films that maybe people aren't talking about, because I think that's always important. You know, the headlines of box office bombs and good or bad or whatever, too much. But you know, more independent or lower budget films that also are like a really well made. I think one I really enjoyed was which one do I want to talk about? Probably Woman King. I don't think enough people were talking about it when it was coming out. I think there was a little bit of controversy of sure for like the revisionist storytelling of it because there's just a lot more of like what truly happened in the history of it. But the concept, the idea, the pulling from real events, because we kind of can always see the same historical events being played over and over again.
Yeah.
And this one here just like had a huge ensemble, black female cast. One thing in particular that I really enjoyed was that the non-female actor in there was John Boyega, and I found that this very redeeming for him after everything he's gone through with Star Wars to have him play the character he plays, but also like Viola Davis and let me double check the name. Let me name. Come on, man. Come on, man. Let me get the name right. Lashana Lynch. She was so good. So like the best way I can think about it is like the way I said it recently was kind of like it was like Paul Beatty from Bonnie and Clyde, where like the cool, sexy, kind of like gunslinger character that was just like everything they do is just super cool, and you just want to be with that character the entire time because they're like the most like interesting, funny, but also skilled and effective warrior in this whole tribe or this whole kingdom. So it was really cool. So Woman King was probably the best movie, and then TV show. I'm gonna say again because I know a lot of people are gonna talk about House of Dragons or Succession or whatever. I'm gonna say Steven Universe, baby. Say Steven Universe, probably the #1 show this year for me.
I mean, you know me, I loved Rings of Power. Especially those last 2 episodes. Despite all the flack it got online, I thought it was a great experience. And I my one like win is that I was like, maybe I'm just got like rose tinted glasses. I don't know what's going on. So I like looked into it, and there's this guy on TikTok I follow, who's the obscure Lord of the Rings reference guy. Do you know him?
No.
Oh, well, he's like famous for knowing like almost everything about Lord of the Rings. He fucking loves the show. He's like, everyone should shut up. This is a great take on Tolkien's classics. It's fun. It's interesting. It's all the things I said. I was like, it's keeping the people who know the lore guessing, but it's still staying true to what's important to the lore. Anyway, it made me feel a lot better.
Kind of like Watchmen.
Yeah, you're just like
people who read the comic book are like, what? And then people who haven't read the comic book are like, what?
Yeah. But like it you know, there's that people who fall in the middle of both of those who are just like, but it said in the book this, and you're like, I know, but you don't really want it spoon fed to you that way in a TV series, do you? Like, you know, I always refer to that
some people do.
There's that, I guess some people do. There's that interview with Ian McKellen where he's talking about why the Lord of the Rings movies are so long, and he was like, I'll put it this way: in a book you can put the line 5 armies marched onto the battlefield. Now show that on a film. How much time does it take?
Brum, bum, bum.
Yeah. And he's like, so, you know, just keep kind of that stuff in mind, is that action can be written really concisely, but it's never really shown that way.
Oh yeah, I finished The Hobbit this year, and I love it where it's like, and then there was the battle of the 5 armies, and then it's like a lot of people died, and then Thorin. I was like, whoa, man, like, man, you gotta go into it. I was like, that was a terrible thing, and I was like, oh my god, like they made a whole movie out of like 2 sentences.
No, we don't talk about Hobbit. I think maybe I'll say that for the TV show, only because I haven't watched Peaky yet, because I'm finally gonna watch it when I'm home. I need to be like,
I thought your answer was gonna be The Bear.
Nobody. Oh, that is my answer. That is my answer. That is probably, I loved Rings of Power, but man, The Bear, holy shit, guys. Not only from like, okay, Tom knows that I love dialogue. I love interesting, witty dialogue. I love writing dialogue. So this show like just hit a bunch of marks for me. I love the story. I love the characters, but like the production, how it's shot, the second to last episode, like no pun intended, chef's kiss.
Literally.
It's The Bear. It's The Bear, dude. It's 100% The Bear. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you for that. Thank you for saving me.
Oh yeah,
I would have thought about that later and been like, shit.
Because I was like, still haven't watched it. Yo, man, I watched.
It's like 6 TV shows that I have to watch for Tom.
Yesterday? No. Yesterday? Yeah, yesterday. No. On Saturday. I watched Barbarian, I watched X, and I watched Pearl, and then I also watched Avatar. That changes a man. I feel like I just like went through so much movie because I was like, I want to catch up and watch all these movies before the end of the year. And there's apparently now there's more movies I need to watch. I'm like, I am but one man.
I'll make this deal with you, Tom. You don't have to watch The Bear until I watch Raised by Wolves. Once I watch that, then you gotta watch.
The thing is, I've been also watching the Gundam movies, the original Gundam movies. You know what those actually are?
No.
Each movie is 13 episodes of the original anime, and I'm like, how
long are the movies?
God, I was like, I was
Like
like, I
4-hour movies?
no, they're all like an hour and a half long movie. Or
How,
sometimes
how
some of
long are the episodes?
they're anime, so it's like 22, maybe sometimes even 17 minutes.
Oh wow.
So it's really short.
All right.
And it was because I was remember I was like, where does this lie in the timeline? There's like the original Mobile Suit Gundam is 13. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? It's a movie. And then I was like, what about the movie? And they're like, they're like, oh, it's a cut up version of the show. I was like, I was like, that's why
Oh,
like
I
they're
see.
so
Oh,
connected.
they edit it.
Yeah, they're so
I
connected.
see. I see.
They're
I see. I
so
see.
connected.
I
I'm
see.
like, why does it keep following this one kid? I'm like, I thought each movie was gonna be like their own thing, but it was surprising.
I understand now.
So next question. We're on that question for a minute. Next question is going to be from Dougler. What is a story you regret bringing up on the show? And on the other side, what is a story that you're really happy of bringing up?
Story. Well, I do have a moment. I mean, I have some regrets for the sake of comedy that I leaned into harder than I wish I had on a recorded podcast. I think I said some things about Nicole Kidman acting, and the Tobey Maguire stuff is funny to me, but like I also grew up on those movies, and I do love those movies. And
He is the best Spider-Man.
It's
Best Peter Parker.
I definitely exaggerated for the sake of comedy, and I thought it was funny at the moment, but like, that's, I don't feel great about it looking back retrospectively, being like yelling, I don't like their acting or whatever. It's like I could do any better, but like, yeah, it's part of our show. It's part of our build is that we're talking about things and are based in review and feeling and stuff like that. So a lot of the time that stuff comes out, we have to talk about what we like and don't like. And so, yeah, that my only regret on the show, I don't think I have any stories I regret bringing up, but I think I regret leaning harder into the jokes than I wish I had.
Shout out to Spencer, aka Heezy Media, because he definitely kind of illuminated. And the thing is, like, I always get really out of body of experiences when people start noticing things about me. And that's one thing that they had mentioned was like, they were like, Tom, your development has been one of my favorite things about the show. And I was just like, have I really changed? And then I realized like how much like precedent I have on like, there are some things I really do censor myself on now because I am really in the industry, and it's really weird to be like, I'm in, and it's like, oh, I'm in certain things. Like if I get caught with my pants down, it could be a really bad deal. And there's some things that like I've joked about, and there's some times where it's even crossed over into like where I don't get to really talk about how I truly feel about a thing because it's like it's really important and passionate for me, and so I wish I could be more unplugged about it. But like some things I for sure have said has gone really really hard in the pain of just like how bad a thing is. And there's some things I'm still gonna be like, nope, I'm sorry. Whoever is attached to the movie Rubber, I hate that movie, and I would love to have a conversation with you, and we could talk about it, and you could tell me why you love it, and that's okay. That's okay. It's not meant for everyone. It's definitely not meant for me. But like the way I used to talk about things was just like, oh, I wish I could Bruce Wayne them. It's like, just like do terrible things. So I definitely feel like that in that same light. Most recently, though, what's something I regret bringing up on the show? It was not really bringing up on the show. It was bringing up on a stream. I started a stream because I was like, do you know what Mail Monday is, Corey?
No.
So Mail Monday is what a lot of like magic people or Yu-Gi tubers, they do when they on Monday
get all their mail in.
Yeah, they stockpile all the mail of cards they brought in, and they open it up. And I was like, oh, I didn't even know that's what it was called. And I was like, oh yeah, I got a bunch of stuff for TCG. I'll open them all up and see. I had all my address on every single one just faced up. I was like, I have to stop the stream, delete the video. And I was like, okay, so I just doxed myself. That's something I regret because I was like, oh my god, like so embarrassing. But
I had supposed to either like Sharpie that out first or
so that was that.
Take the paper out with the cards in it and stack those off to the side.
But what's a story you're really happy you brought up?
A story I'm happy I brought up. I mean, that's sad that's harder, I think it's that's that classic like
We are our
it's
worst critics.
easy to you can dwell on the things like I said. I still remember shit I said at a party 8 years ago because I'll be like about to sleep and I'm like I said these things. But the things I'm happy I brought up are like different. I am happy for all the times to talk about storyboard on here and doing our stream where we watched PAs. And I guess that's kind of a roundabout way of answering this question where it's not really just a story. Story about my new baby girl. I feel like that was that was less of a story and being like I'm a dad.
It's more of like a hey, this is the reason why he's been gone for a couple episodes.
Yeah. But like we since episode 1 we've been talking about storyboard here and there. I'd make films with Tom. And yeah, I'm just really it's something I'm really proud of, and whatever happens with storyboard nerd on but is included in that basket. But like for the sake of what we're talking about with whatever happens with storyboard, it's something I'm really proud to have started, and the group of folks who's involved in it are all uncles to my baby girl, and it's not like a business thing. It's all family. And yeah, I'm glad it's something I've talked about on this show quite a bit, because it's something very near and dear to me.
Mine is not as wonderful or human. Mine's much more of a meme. And I'm gonna say it's because I ran across this comment recently on our YouTube channel, and it's one of my favorite things that ever happened. It was when we first started making the show, and some of the people actually on the stream may not remember, may not have been there during those times, but I was talking about and it was when I was like probably the most pretentious, where I was talking about film and real and what's good and bad. I still
Mise en
believe
scène.
I still believe in it. I just am not gonna crucify someone for not caring, because to me it does matter. But it was talking about crushed blacks in film and watching it, and I was kind of like, if you ever watch a thing and then you see to the left of pure darkness and black, and then you look to your right and you're looking into the frame and it's a little bit lighter, it's not true black. And then the quote was, "True black all day, every day." And then it's like Tom. Then I was like, I'm so glad someone saw like that, and just like it was like, that irritates me. That irritates me so much. And Corey knows, like, when I color correct or when I want something color correct, it's like I need it as black as possible, because if I see just any bit of noise, I mean, at a certain point you can, right? And some people even like that look of just like just washed out and then like low shadows, and I'm like, give me the black,
the depth, baby.
Yeah, it looks good.
That's why, I mean, Tom knows this. That's why I was like, there is another version of this color. I'm not sure you like. I'm gonna send it to you. I think you want it.
So yeah, that's the one thing I'm glad I mentioned that. Last of the picked questions, and we got some questions from the chat, so I want to make sure we get through those.
Oh, I'm just really thirsty here, Tom Holland.
That's where we're using our nice little focus, right? To hear our nice audio.
Questions from the chat.
One more from the pre-selected, which is going to be T-Dog8282. What is the best new food you tried this year?
Oh, that's a good question.
Also, really we are doing a giveaway with Focusrite right now, but I appreciate everyone in the chat that put
We're doing another one?
We're not doing one.
Oh, no, we're not.
But I appreciate everyone in the chat who put that thing down, even though we should probably take it out.
We should take that out 100%. And then shout out to Zach S.
Yeah.
The winner. I best new food I tried this year. Baby formula. Tried that this year. Baby puree.
Baby pop.
No, I would have to say, oh yeah, man, I don't know if I even tried anything new this year. I must have at some point. You got anything?
A new food I tried this year. I tried eggplant. No, it's not really new, but I started cooking it because with my health.
You do the salt?
I just do a little bit of salt and a baby bit of oil, and then I just grill it to oblivion.
Do you want to know a secret about eggplant that's going to change your fucking life?
Sure.
So for about 10 minutes on about 10 minutes, could probably be less on each side. You're gonna salt the shit out of the eggplant, like cover it in salt, and you're gonna see moisture start getting sucked out of it. Flip it over, do the other side, and then you can wash the salt off if you're trying to go low sodium. I would also recommend it because it's a lot of fucking salt. Like you want to coat it both sides till the moisture gets pulled out, probably 10 minutes each side. Wash it off, season it however you're gonna season it then, and cook it. And it is the most tender, and oh dude, it changes the game because I like eggplant. And I did this test. I grilled some eggplant in some olive oil, garlic, and parsley, and holy shit, Tom, changed the game. Changed the game, baby. Because it can be really rubbery if you don't cook it right.
Yeah. Thankfully for me, I just grill it to oblivion. So like
you don't have to grill a little less.
But normally I just do, and so I'm just like, cool, it's good because I've definitely fucked around with it and been like, cool, I'll throw it in the stir fry, absorbs every liquid. I'm like, oh.
Try this and get back to me. I want to hear your thoughts on it because it's like I used to slice it into like pucks, you know, salt it both sides. Yeah.
The way I do it is the Chinese way. Is like you use cornstarch on it. You use a lot of cornstarch for it, so it crisps up like crazy.
Yeah.
But I'll try that way.
Like crispy rice.
You got a food before I move on to the
it was, you know what? I tried. There's this place in Novato called Masa's. It's a sushi restaurant. I got my dad to try Toro, Tom, thanks to you. Gave you the shout out for it. I was like, gotta try this. It was, dude, it's so first of all, this sushi restaurant is run by a Michelin star chef, and it is real good. But they had Toro in there, so you gotta try it. So we tried that. They had Wagyu steak cutlets for like $30 fucking. It's this big, heavenly, melts in your mouth. But I tried this roll called the Golden Roll, and it had quail egg and like creamed scallops in it, and roe, but the roe was golden. It wasn't orange, it wasn't red, it was like yellow golden roe on the outside. Never had that before, and holy shit,
just that was flavor crazy. Bomb.
Yeah, Tom, we're gonna go take a trip, visit my family, and we're gonna go to Masa's together because it was. And I tried sparkling sake for the first time.
Oh, okay, for sure. T-Dog said, at least a new birdie that blew your mind. One thing I did try that was actually like a brand new thing. I'm like, I never had soft shell crab.
Oh,
and I'm like, oh, you can just eat the whole thing? I'm like, this is amazing. I love that. Crunchy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now these are questions from the chat. I want to make sure we get through these because this is the last update of the year, and you guys have been so patient.
Go a little late.
Dust Ninja Kenji asks, has there been a game where you loved the lore, even if the gameplay or story may not have been the best? My personal pick is the Fallout games, particularly Fallout 3 or 4. I really love Fallout's lore and the story of 4, and I like the settlement building is so fun, but the bugs, it bugged me out. The bugs took me out of it. The bugs and glitches took me out of it.
Yeah. Interesting question. I don't have anything off the top of my head. If you got something,
I would say the lore, even if I didn't like the game play. I mean, I like the interesting.
You don't have to. It said even if you don't, so you could still like the gameplay.
I mean the lore.
Love the lore.
Bloodborne. Come on, Bloodborne, Elden Ring, from Soft Games are crazy. Hollow Knight. I was gonna say T-Dog knows Hollow Knight is so good. Oh my god, so good. I mean, Cyberpunk was one that I really loved the story and the lore. Like in Cyberpunk, the one thing that was not broken was the story and the world building. But I would definitely say Bloodborne, just because again, you're getting injected, you go under, and you wake up and you're in a place called the Hunter's Dream, and you wake up and you're in this nightmare realm, and then it's just like werewolves and goblins and ogres. Anyways,
goblins and ghouls.
Yeah, exactly. Corey, you got one or?
I don't know if I have one. Lore, I definitely have the other way around, where it was like the gameplay was tight, but the lore sucked. Like Army of Two. It's one of those games where the gameplay was just tight, but the lore was really boring. I'm doing a Google search real quick, just to see if I'm like looking up Xbox games and stuff that I thought were really interesting.
Oh, lore, but
Right? That's a good question. That is a really good question.
Yeah. Because, yeah, I was going to say, like, Kingdom Hearts, absolutely, like, I don't even know. But the game was like, it could be fun.
There's one I'm going to Google here. We'll go to the next question here, but I'll get the answer to
Yeah.
you in
This
just
one's
a
actually,
second.
this next question is actually for you. 1992 Johnny Horror. Question for Corey, basically. What are you looking
Oh.
forward to in showing your daughter you loved when you were a kid?
Well, Magic the Gathering. I actually had my first experience showing her something that she engaged with that I loved as a kid. So Muppet Christmas Carol is the best Christmas movie of all time. I grew up on it with my grandma. One of the last text exchanges I had with her, with my grandma before she passed, was that I was showing Dana the movie. So that was like, it's very near and dear to me. And so I put it on a couple days ago and she was just enthralled with it. Loved the Muppets, loved the songs. We didn't watch the whole thing. I kind of like, because I don't want to sit her in front of a screen for 2 hours at this point. She's only 10 months old. But I showed her some key parts. I showed her some of the songs and stuff like that. She was like clapping. And when, they got to this song called It Feels Like Christmas, which is one of my favorite ones, and she was just having a ball. It was really kind of surreal to like full circle moment. But like, yeah, I think there's a lot of movies I'm looking forward to showing her from my childhood. I think that's the most, I talk about that a lot. Obviously very excited to show her Lord of the Rings someday, but I feel like she's got to be like 10 or 11 to start that, really understand it.
Well, I'm not going to answer that question. The next question.
What are you excited to show Juniper?
The Mask.
Yeah, it's a good one. You and Dana.
Yeah, The Mask.
Yeah.
Second last question. It's going to be from Dusk Ninja Kenji. Okay, so in terms of Marvel's Civil War, do you think the comic or the movie was better? And do you think the MCU is going to adapt Civil War 2? And how will they do it without Tony?
Let me read this. Okay, so do you think Marvel's Civil War? The comic or movie? I think the comic was better.
Mm-hmm. Same.
And do you think the MCU is going to adapt Civil War 2? How'd they do without Tony? I don't personally think they're going to do another Civil War, at least in this next chunk of block of time, whatever phase. I mean, they're going to Secret Wars, which I feel like is going to be the bigger arc then. Like Civil War was the big moment where they like had their rift and had to come together. I feel like Secret Wars is going to be the thing that it's building towards, and then they got to like go from there.
Yeah, I don't know what they're. I don't know what you do after Secret Wars. I'm just like you just call it Multiverse Wars.
Multiverse Wars. By the way, the game I was thinking of was Lost Odyssey on the Xbox 360. It was a Japanese title, turn-based RPG, but the game was like the gameplay was pretty repetitive, but the lore was. I remember being really enthralled with the lore. I'd have to refresh myself on it, but check it out. But yeah, I do think the comic books were more interesting than the movie, than the whole, I don't know. Tom, you agree with me on this one, but maybe we're in the minority on it. I think that the dad issues stuff was, me, I love dad issue stuff, but I think the bigger picture kind of stuff where, Tony was just kind of taking this, I don't know, it didn't work. It wouldn't have worked within the cinematic universe they created, I guess, to follow the comics the way they're written, because Tony is being reactive. He's a reactive character in the MCU rather than, I mean, I guess it was still him being reactive in the comics.
The weird thing about titling it Civil War is the title of Civil War is because in Civil War, where that takes place, like everyone's in very different places in the comics. And so it makes a lot of cool story playing elements make sense in the comics, where like Tony Stark is the director of S.H.I.E.L.D. at that point. And so it makes a lot of sense why he's very like government dog at that point.
Right, because everyone thought, did everyone think he was, no, never mind.
And it's just interesting that Tony's entire motivation in the movie is all from like a 2-minute scene with a character we've never seen in the MCU talking about what happened in Age of Ultron. And it's like, and Tony's entire arc in the MCU is kind of like course corrected to do this Civil War thing where like his entire arc is always like, I'm the hero, I do what I need to do, none of you can tell me what to do. And then also it's like we all have to be accountable for what we do, and it's like it's a very hard turn for you. If anyone, you were like, I'm not the soldier, I don't do this stuff, we never had to do this stuff, and now he's like, oh well, now I'm being like, he's doing all this stuff that happens in the comic books where he's like, you know, putting people in the negative zone and stuff like that, and in the comic books and all that stuff. And I think the comic has a lot more pointed dialogue, and it's really cool, like, you know, when Daredevil gets captured and he gives like,
because of mutants.
But the second part of the question, Civil War 2, if they do it without Tony, I think you do it with because it's Tony versus Carol Danvers, and it's because of the plot of Winter Soldier, of like, we're trying to preemptively stop bad things from happening, and then Tony's like, we can't do that, so I'm going to try to, you know, stop everyone from using Ulysses' powers. So like, if they were to try to do it, I have to imagine like, who's the character that would be like, hey, we need to be more reactive than versus being like, we have to use all our powers, and even no matter what's the cost, right? And that's kind of like the thing where it's like, do the ends justify the means? That's the battle. And not a lot of people really like Civil War 2 anyways. But I would say if the ends justify the means, it has to be probably
like in the MCU now.
Yeah. It might be Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
Versus maybe
it could be Carol Danvers. Still.
Maybe Carol Danvers. Maybe Captain America. Cause I don't know. That's a weird thing for Anthony Mackie's Wilson to become like, hey, we have to do everything we can with our powers.
No, he would be on the other side of that.
Yeah, right. And then
the way they've written his character, he would be on the other side of that.
But they've really recently gotten a lot of Doctor Strange becoming like, we have to do whatever it takes to stop everything. And so it's like, but also it's like, he's so powerful.
Doctor Strange?
Powerful. Yeah, he's so powerful.
He is so powerful. But he has kind of taken that role, I guess, with multiverse.
He does whatever it takes. He puts everything on the line in order to win. And it's like, that can make sense, where he's like, cool, we have to use these powers. Oh, I mean, I guess Multiverse of Madness would have been
he might also be on the
other
side of that, because he may have, you know, because like arc-wise, he's like, no, I'm not doing that again.
Yeah.
So who would it be? I mean,
you know, man, I don't know. Ooh, you know,
Vision.
It could be Thor. He could be like, I lost every Asgardian before, and I'm not going to lose them again. And then Captain Marvel could be like, no. But I don't know. If they do it without Tony, that's who I would think maybe would be Thor. Because like, you just have to think who would be on the side of like no, and then I think Captain Marvel's on the side of yes. But then you just flip it around. But then also the old Civil War movie, they're still in the same, like, for the Accords, not for the Accords, but just differently motivated. Let's get the last question of the update for the year.
Wouldn't be Rhodes, would it? Roddy?
Rhodey? I don't know. Ooh! It could, you haven't seen Wakanda Forever, have you? It could be the new Black Panther, which I'm not gonna say, and everyone in the chat don't say who.
I know. I think I know.
Well, maybe. We all know that Chadwick passed away, and then T'Challa in the film, his character is gone, and so whomever is this new Black Panther is like, I've seen it, and we have to use every power we have possible. And then the opposing, who's like, we shouldn't do that, could be maybe Doctor Strange, because he has seen it, right?
I just want to get War Machine in there. I just want to get Don Cheadle.
He's gonna have a movie, Armor Wars.
I know. I just want him in the Civil War one.
Oh yeah, in the Civil War 2, I think he's dead.
Now every time I hear that, I do that because of you.
What?
Don Cheadle. Damn. Sorry.
Damn. But
Sorry.
no, this
Wasn't like that.
Sorry. Man, I do that. But okay. Last question of the night of the year for the update, everyone, and I want everyone in the chat to answer this question as well.
Okay.
This question comes from TDog8282.
Mm-hmm.
Question: what do you want most for Christmas this year? Also, Mamba, that's a perfect answer. Spider-Man 2 versus whoever, because he's great. Spider-Man's a great character. But what do you want most for Christmas this year? Everyone and Corey.
What do I want most for Christmas this year? I mean, I have the humanity answer, and I have the consumerism answer.
Bofa.
For Christmas this year, my first gut reaction was it's Juniper's first Christmas, so I just want it to be memorable. I want it to be something that she is excited for, and that others who participate in it, mainly family, grandparents, everyone, feel like they were a part of it as well. Some, making sure that her first celebratory moment is a good one that has all the family involved. Consumer Corey wants a new lens for his camera. I want an 85 millimeter Rokinon Cine lens, 1.5, baby.
I'll do the same, but I'm going to start with the consumerist one. Okay. For Crittleman, I would like. I mean, it's not something anyone could just buy me. It's part of me that's just like, I just want to get like 4 tattoos. But like,
oh, he's addicted now.
Oh, I mean, I'm gonna get Swordfish, Cowboy Bebop right here.
All right.
But I think what I want the most in terms of a physical item, it's not too much. Like I just like, I want cards, but if I want one thing in particular, it'd probably be like, I wouldn't even use it. Probably, I don't know, maybe a new iPhone. My phone's kind of jank now, but it's not broken or anything like that. It's part of that just wants like a Teradek. It's a $6,500 receiver between a mini monitor and your camera that you're using. It's really expensive. I'd want that. And then the humanity answer is actually something pretty interesting with me, because I think Corey knows this, is that like there's definitely a character flaw with me, is like I try to like take care of others a lot more, and I really worry about, not really worry, but I try to make sure everyone else is fed before I get fed. I'm one of the kind of person that like I won't eat until everyone else eats, kind of thing. And I don't know what it is. Some people would say it's the dark side of my feminine nature, because it's the overusage of caring, which is problematic. And my Christmas wish would probably be where I can have that in a positive way, and the people I like care about and I worry about, and I just like, it's kind of like, oh, I don't want Corey to have his lens. What I want Corey to do is like to really enjoy this Christmas and have like kind of like one of the most memorable Christmases in his life. Like that's kind of the weird thing. It was like, there's nothing I could do about that though, right? Yeah. But then I will stay up at night wanting to see if I can do that somehow. And that's how I feel for people most times.
Yeah,
where it's
you
like,
do that.
I can't give them a thing where it's like, oh, I really wish this person would hopefully, heal or get through this hard time they're going through, and sometimes get out of their own ways. And there's nothing I could do about that. And I hope in my Christmas wish is like, I hope I can feel that way and it can happen for them, but also doesn't take away from me. And, I'm in my own level of self-healing. And so it's kind of like, I wish my Christmas wish is like, I could have my cake and eat it too, in terms of how much I think about other people.
Ba-da-ba. Now.
But I only see one answer in the chat, which is Dragonlance Shadow of the Dragon Queen Special Edition cover, which sounds insane and crazy and cool, T-Dog. But everyone,
I want a Black Lotus beta. I don't need alpha. Beta. It's fine by me. That's my new Christmas wish.
That's a good one.
And then I can fund your next film when I sell it, Tom.
Oh, be nice.
Someday.
Would be nice, make money. If I get a first edition Legend of Blue Eyes White Dragon, that's like 20 G's. It'd be nice.
Between the two of us,
We could do it,
make a
baby.
movie.
We could do it. We could just take a trip up into the snow, baby.
Hey, chat, donation below for Corey's Black Lotus Alpha Beta.
Hey, look, if you don't want to drop bits, which we have gotten 200 bits from Dustin Ninja Kenji, thank you so much for those bits. If you don't got bits, you could send us your expensive cards, baby. We'll take those. No, but that's it, everyone. That is our show. It is a mega long one for our update. Thank you so much. You mean so much. Thank you. We want to thank you so much. You guys have stuck around with us. This show again would not really it would not be existing if we didn't have an audience. Obviously we'd be talking, but we'd just be talking to ourselves. But we put a mic in front of us, and you hang out with us. You send us awesome things to do and to interact with, and we can't wait for the next year. We're wishing all of you health, happiness, and time with yourself. Absorb the solstice, where you can reflect upon the year that passed and hopefully grow and then become a better person for the next year, but also spend time with your family or loved ones if you should wish to do so. I don't know if there's going to be another stream for me this week. I really want to try, but I do have to pack up and then go visit family. You're leaving?
Me?
Yeah.
I'm leaving Wednesday morning.
I'm trying to leave Wednesday, like day or afternoon. Depends if I work or not, but yeah.
When do you come back, Tom?
I'll come back the following week, Wednesday. So I'll be here for New Year's. And I'll definitely try to stream next week, but I don't think I don't know if I have any time to stream before that point. It just depends, because tomorrow we're doing our thing, and then Wednesday is Wednesday. So, everyone, thank you so much. Mamba, T-Dog, Johnny Horror, Dust Ninja, Mr. Big Nate, Burke Halter. We see you in the chat. Thank you all. Did I miss anything, Corey?
You know the drill.
Oh, hold on. I gotta raise somebody.
As always, raid somebody.
As always, raid
That's what I was gonna say. Mary Chrysler.
Mary Crittleman. We're gonna raid Yoshi the Sidarso playing that Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII reunion.
Tell him we said Mary Chrysler.
Everyone say Mary Chrysler. That is the chat. Everyone take care of yourselves. Yes, chat message. You know. Everyone take care of yourselves. You know the drill. As always, nerd on.
Nerd on.